Excellent. Okay, everybody, we're going to call this meeting to order tonight. Today is November 8th. This is a regular meeting of City Council, and we thank you for your patience. We were coming out of an executive session following our prior committee of the whole. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're joining in virtually or following the live stream, please feel free to access our agenda from readingpa.gov. And very quickly, I would like to recognize the updates that are happening to our city's website. They really look fantastic. Thank you for those efforts. So here we are following our protocol for our hybrid meetings because we still are in those practices. So a lot of people are joining us virtually. And we do have our Mike Reiner joining us this evening for our invocation. So I'm going to pass over to you, Mike, for the invocation to begin our meeting.
Okay, thank you. It's an honor to do that. Let us pray. Lord God, we thank you for this day. We ask that you guide us in all the business of this meeting and show us the best paths to take. You tell us if we want wisdom, you'll give it to us abundantly if we believe. So in faith, we ask you, Lord, to give each of us here your wisdom to say and do what is best for Reading, to make good decisions and to have a productive meeting with good results. Lord, we pray for Reading, the city we all love, that light and hope and love will prevail. We pray for a bright future for Reading. A city on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light shine through us. And we pray that you'll bless our mayor, our council members, each one here as they lead and as they serve. May all we do honor you, Father God, and we lift up this prayer in your holy name. And may all God's people say, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great meeting. God bless.
Thank you. I'm going to invite everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and ask Linda to pull up a flag. I know Marcia sometimes has her flag banner. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it
stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Hey, and Linda, when you're ready, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ms. Cepeda Freitas?
Here.
Ms. Goodman-Hendershitz?
Here.
Mr. Marmaru?
Here.
Ms. Reed?
Here.
Ms. Sahelnick?
Here.
Ms. Ventura?
Here.
Mr. Waltman, President. 6 present, 1 absent.
And it's important to note that we are having an executive session. We had one on November 8th, right out during the committee of the whole meeting regarding litigation. And we also just had one exiting our committee of the whole prior to this meeting, also on litigation. We don't have any proclamations and presentations for this evening. But we do have 2 individuals who are registered for public comment. Linda, I believe we have 1 individual calling in and 1 person joining in. Are those individuals ready to make their comments this evening?
Neither person is present.
Okay, we're going to give them a courtesy just because we do have that virtual option. So I'm going to ask Councilwoman Reed just to take a minute to read through the public commentary guidelines in case they are able to join us. Donna, would you do that, please?
Okay, now I'll do it.
Stream, please feel free to access.
Okay, due to COVID-19, the public Speaking requirements have been modified. Comments posted in Zoom chat and on Facebook are not considered public comment. Response may not occur. Here are the instructions. To comment at a regular business meeting, citizens can register by calling or emailing the city clerk's office by noon on the day of the regular meeting. Instructions to access the virtual meeting app or dial-in will be provided upon registration. Call 610-615-6204 or 5 or email council@readingpa.gov. Public comment for regular business meetings will also be accepted in writing by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting through an email to council@readingpa.gov. The message must clearly be marked as public comment. The comment received in writing will be read into the record at the regular meeting. Those wishing to provide in-person comment at a regular meeting in the pen room must register with the city clerk no later than 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting by calling 610-655-6204 or emailing council@readingpa.gov. The procedure to register to comment by signing a registration sheet before the start of the regular meeting will be suspended until the meetings are fully opened, with everyone gathering in council chambers. Public speaking rules adopted by council allow those speaking on agenda matters to speak for 5 minutes and 3 minutes for non-agenda matters. All remarks must be directed to council as body and not to any individual council member or public or elected or appointed official in attendance. Any comment that is personally offensive or impertinent will not be read into the record. Again, comments on agenda matters are limited to 5 minutes in length, and comments on non-agenda matters are limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Donna. And I know there was just a little bit of echo and feedback. I want to give everybody the courtesy, since we are doing hybrid meetings, if it's okay with the rest of council, I think that if the individuals do have the ability to join us, we'll give them the opportunity to speak at the end of the meeting in full equity here. So thank you for reading through that, Donna. We're going to move forward to the approval of the agenda and minutes as presented. The agenda was the meeting of November 8th, which is today, and the minutes that have been provided are from October 25th, regular meeting, the November 1st, 2021 special meeting, and the approval of the summations of the discussions from the Committee of the Wholes on October 25th, 26th, November 1st, and the November 1st nomination meetings. If everybody is in agreement and there's no opposition, we will proceed forward with the agenda presented as approved. We move forward to the consent agenda. This evening, there are 2 items on the consent agenda considering for legislation. The first resolution is an authorization of the promotion of Sergeant Aaron Demko to the rank of lieutenant. And the second resolution is an authorization of the promotion of Officer Daniel Eggert to the rank of sergeant. I believe we have Chief Tornelli joining us this evening if you would like to make a few remarks. And also, of course, council, if you would like to make a few remarks, please feel free. Chief, are you with us?
Yes, I am. These promotions are to replace a lieutenant's position. The lieutenant retired recently, so we're putting the sergeant to lieutenant. And then obviously we need to promote a sergeant from the officer ranks to fill into the sergeant's position. These are both the next eligible and accepting individuals on our promotional list.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Council, any comments or questions? I see no objections. So we'll move forward with the approval of the consent agenda as presented. This evening, we have the administrative report, which will be given to us by the managing director. Good evening, Mr. Amoros. Welcome.
Good evening, Counselor. Thank you very much. We had a very good week last week. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who participated in the public forum as we discussed the American Rescue Plan funds. I want to thank especially Centro Hispano for opening its doors. We had over 50 participants who came out and participated in roundtable discussions as well as post discussions on the microphone as well. So we want to thank them, and we look forward to our next session as well. On Friday morning at 11 a.m., and most of you were present, we had our groundbreaking ceremony for the 9th and Marion Street Fire Station. Speaking at that event were Senators Judy Schwank, State Representative Manny Guzman, of course, Mayor Moran was present, and Chief Stout did a terrific job, not just emceeing the event, but also speaking. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the champion of all of this, and that was Councilman Strat Marmaru. So I think that we owe them all a debt of gratitude for making this a reality, and it's going to be something that the entire community is going to be able to benefit from greatly. At 3 o'clock on Friday, thanks to Councilwoman Marcia Goodman Hintershitz, we had a USA Today reporter come to the pagoda, and he did a recording which is available on YouTube. For those who wish to see the link, let me know. I'll be happy to send that to you. And it was a good, positive, feel-good story about the city of Reading and how it's come along. And the reporter actually has roots in the area as well. So that was a really nice interview that lasted about 2.5 hours with spectacular sights and an ability for him to visit the pagoda inside for the first time. Under community development, the department received authorization from the Pennsylvania Department of Health and also HUD to start the lead hazard abatement program, which began officially on November the 1st. Currently, the department is working with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to certify 10 local contractors and several paint inspectors to seek lead risk assessors to ensure that the workforce is adequately staffed and trained. The program is going to require cleaning 10 homes per the Department of Health and 150 homes per HUD. Total of 160 homes will be completed in a 3-year time frame. We're confident that that can be accomplished. And to ensure the families affected by lead contamination are aware of the program, the CD department is also reaching out to local healthcare providers to inform the families with children who have elevated blood lead levels to contact the city for assistance. I think all of you know that this is a serious hazard to our children and their development. City Department's Property Maintenance Division also conducted several inspections, and the following report: 406 two-year property inspections, 279 quality of life citations, 115 notice of violations issued to chronic quality of life violators, 163 notice of violations issued to properties that are not compliant with property maintenance ordinance, and the work will continue. The department also discussed the property transfer ordinance with the Reading Berks Association of Realtors, also known as RBAR, and they provided feedback to not just community development, but the law department. We're going to review and agree to suggestions that it will ensure transparency while assisting with delays in the settlement process. The ordinances address quality of life issues, code violations, and also a warning for buyer beware. The CD Department Zoning Division improved the application process, resulting in a significant reduction in applications caught in the pipeline. In October, the number of pending applications dropped to 26 from 81. That is significant progress. CD Department via Finance's Purchasing Division issued an RFQ for the Fifth and Penn properties. The RFQ requires a mandatory registration with the city's Purchasing Division and scheduling a tour of the properties. The due date for the RFQs is January 4th of 2022. Under Finance, the department's IT division is working closely with Alvernia University to ensure the RPD substation on the Collegetown campus is ready to operate from a technological standpoint. The department's division also updated the SolarWinds software, fixed e-discovery on the city's email server, and resolved the Comcast outages occurring at the 3rd and Spruce Recreation Center building. The department is also continuing to work on the conversion of the Tyler Munis accounting system. All fee schedules and Hansen system information was supplied to Tyler Munis personnel to assist in preparing that new system. The department's Purchasing Division has the following updates on current projects. Penn Street Courtyard project, where 3 bids were received by the October 27th deadline. Bernhard Dam Spillway Removal Project, where 8 bids were received by that deadline. Municipal Solid Waste Disposal Project, 2 bids were received by the October 14th deadline. Buttonwood Gateway Project, 10 proposals were received. A selection committee was appointed to review the proposals and to choose a firm. And on the Penn Square properties, the RFQs were announced on October the 29th. Anyone interested can find the RFQ on the city's website at readingpa.gov, with the deadline for submissions also January 14th of 2022. Under Fire, on October the 27th, Lieutenant John Naylor from the Fire Marshal's Office participated in Amanda Stout Elementary School's Trunk or Treat event. At the event, Lieutenant Naylor provided attendees with fire safety handouts. Chief Stout and Second Deputy Chief Glore read books to Amanda Stout Elementary School students via Zoom on the morning of October the 28th, and the fire department enjoyed reading and interacting with numerous classes virtually. Also on the 28th, Lieutenant John Naylor from the office, the fire marshal's office, and our RFD Engine 1 crew participated in the trunk or treat event hosted at the St. Clair of Assisi House on South 12th Street. The fire safety material was distributed to those who attended. And on the 19th, we are preparing for the paramedic class graduation ceremony and swearing in that will occur at the Goggle Works Center for the Arts, and the mayor and I are looking forward to attending that. Under Human Relations, 1,105 total rent and utility assistance applications were received, which is an addition of 36 applications since last time we reported. 660 applicants were facing eviction, 291 were not actively facing eviction, 102 resided outside of the city but within the county, and 52 applications were considered for utility assistance. Under Human Resources, as of November 1st, Richard Stout will serve as the Equipment Operator 2 for Solid Waste Division. And as of today, we want to welcome Lori Kramer, who is going to serve as the new Auditing Coordinator. So welcome to both of them. Under Library, the RPL began its routine policy review process. All 28 policies were shared with the library staff for their edits and suggestions. The policies range from author visitation to youth services, and the Board of Trustees will review and vote on those submissions. On October 30th, the library's annual Halloween bash returned after taking a year off. The event included spooky tunes, family favorites played by the Reading Philharmonic. This 12-year-old tradition also has a costume parade, book giveaway, crafts activities, and candy. Other special guests were Cosplayers Care, and we'd like to thank everyone that made this return event a great success. The library is currently seeking applications for 3 positions: district consultant, outreach coordinator to older adults, and part-time interlibrary loan coordinator. Please share this information with any person or organization that may help in filling these vacancies. The RPL also held a staff development day on November 2nd at the Doubletree Hotel, and the event included training sessions, keynote speaker Travis Berger, an assistant professor of business and leadership at Alberta University, and the traditional bake-off contest among library staff. I can tell you that my staff enjoyed that the best. They came back raving about it, but they didn't bring me any treats, so I had to write them up. Anyway, as a special surprise, the mayor and RPL staff honored Executive Director Bronwyn Gamble for her contributions throughout her 23 years with the Reading Public Library. She's going to be missed. I don't even know where to begin. She's been terrific to work with, just a consummate professional. Her quiet, steady leadership has really propelled the public library to the top, and we are greatly appreciative of that. Under police, the police department Pink Patch Initiative raised over $8,000. The goal was to reach 10,000, and the money raised will go to breast cancer support services in Berks County. The commemorative patches, which absolutely look fabulous, are still available to the public for $20. Those interested can contact the police traffic office at 610-655-6294. Lieutenant Lance Lillis and Officer Renee Rios joined various community partners on the monthly homeless outreach detail on the 28th, and the next detail is scheduled for the week of November the 15th. On October the 27th, the Salvation Army recognized Lieutenant Lance Lillis and the police department for its work, and the police force as a whole did food distribution during the pandemic. The recognition took place at their annual breakfast event. And lastly, under police, the department donated 16 bicycles to the Reading School District to support an initiative led by the police chaplain, Nick Camacho. Students will work to refurbish the bikes, which will then be awarded to students who have achieved perfect attendance and good grades. The police department is also working with the AAA to provide bicycle helmets to the recipients if they need them. Lastly, under Public Works, the staff has completed 332 out of the 780 streetlights for the LED streetlight project, which is an increase of 82 streetlights since our last report. And on the 5th, which is Friday, The paving of 200 and 300 blocks of Penn Street, which began on October 4th, were completed. And lastly, for the report, Public Works announced the completion of the Pagoda traffic improvements on October the 22nd. The Pagoda will be open to the public from dawn to dusk, with Public Works staff opening gates at dawn and the Reading Police Department closing the gates at dusk. Counselor, that concludes my report. I'm more than happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
Thank you, Abe. That was a very good report. Any questions or brief comments from the council body this evening for the managing director? Okay, Johanny, yes?
Thank you for the report. It's a quick question related to the RPD substation at Alvernia. What does it mean that it's ready from a technology standpoint?
I think that what it means is it's going to be connected for Wi-Fi, and it's going to be compatible for our IT division to communicate with them. So then the police will have everything in place, technologically speaking.
Oh, as it relates to the bicycles, it just reminded me, at some point in our prior administration, we had this amazing Reading bike hub, and I was hoping that, some point in the near future, we can bring that back. You just gave me reminded me of that thought.
Yes, thank you, Johanny. Those were great programs. And I know the community really were the key components to making those programs successful. Also, I have asked the managing director to prepare some information and update us for the upcoming holiday parade, right, Abe? So that's coming.
That is correct. That's going to be on Saturday, November the 20th. We're going to start at 10 a.m. We already have 13 organizations that have signed up. It's going to be a fun-filled event. It's a tradition, obviously, and so we're anticipating quite a few people that day. We're very excited about it. Earlier on, during the committee of the whole, we discussed the funding for that project. Happy to report that we have exceeded our goal in terms of fundraising. So that's moving in the right direction, which is a reflection of how popular this event is with the greater community.
Yep, we look forward to seeing those big floats coming down Penn Street. Any other comments or questions for the managing director? Marcia?
Thank you, Managing Director, for such a complete report. I just wanted to clarify with the pagoda. The roads are open, but the pagoda internally is not. Just so people don't believe that now that the road has been cleared and open, the building will be closed for the foreseeable future.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for that report. Also, we've received invitations by the mayor to present ideas and thoughts and questions offline and not just at the meetings, which is very productive. It's a very approachable way to make sure that our communication is happening back and forth between the council body and the administration, and I am very much appreciative of that. Next, we'll be moving on to the report from the Office of the Auditor. This evening, we have our auditor, Maria Rodriguez, joining us. Maria, happy to present the report when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Councilor Lucien. And good evening, everyone. The first item on my report is the cable franchise fee, the revenue that has been received as of September 30, 2021. For 2021, the city budgeted $825,000 revenue for the cable franchise fees. Due to less revenue collected in previous years, $50,000 less was budgeted for this year compared to 2020 budget. As of September 30, 2021, the city recorded $607,448.43 for this revenue line item, and about $10,000 less in revenue has been collected during the first 3 quarters of this year compared to the same period 2020. The second line item is the real estate transfer tax. For September 2021, the city revenue is $678,323.20 for real estate transfer tax. And year-to-date revenue recorded as of September 30, 2021 is $6,631,495.39 for this line item. The revenue for real estate transfer tax have already exceeded its budget target by $1,931,495.39. Since January of this year, 1,961 transactions for real estate transfer tax has been completed, of which 1,654 transactions were taxable and 307 were not taxable transactions. Consequently, the city recorded $1,450,851.56 in revenue for property sold for more than $500,000 threshold for this fiscal year. I just gonna give an update on the closeout order for the DCD grant. At the September 23, 2021 council meeting, I reported that in 2015, the DCD granted $520,000 to the city, and the expiration date of this grant was June 30, 2021. A closeout order was needed in order for this city to be in compliance with the DCD guidelines. The closeout order has been completed by her bank company, and on October 28, 2021, this order was filed to DCD by Michael Beharman, the city controller. The closeout order identified the following two findings. Finding number one, the contract financial statement include $25,196 of expenditures for design and engineering of the Penn Street Fire Station and $470 expenditures associated with the Penn Street properties, neither of which were approved activity in the grant contract or any amendment. The Nathan Marion Fire Station was the allowable project in the amended grant. As outlined in the grant contract, the city could be asked to return the grant funds plus interest, which were spent on unbudgeted activities. Finding number two, the city did not purchase an access management software until the spring of 2021. The city charged the entire cost of $50,757 to the grant, including $757 of training. However, the license is for the period of April 1st, 2021 to March 31, 2020. Based on the invoice provided, only $3,775 expenditures happening within the contract period, and the remaining of $46,225 related to expenditure did not happening outside of the contract period. The parking study had not been completed as of September 21, 2021. Only expenses that happened through September 21, 2021 had been charged to the grant, totaling about 81% completion per the vendor performing a study. As outlined in the grant contract, the city could be asked to return the grant funds which were spent on expenditure that did not happen within the grant period. In addition, the city had $22,086 of unexpended grant funds which will be returned to the state. In the management response to the finding, the city had requested to be allowed to keep all grant amounts that have been questioned or unused during this grant period. This is my report for tonight. I'm open for any question that you might have.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for that report. Council body, any questions for Maria?
A copy of the order was sent. Was sent to all council members. I mean, I sent it to Linda. I'm pretty sure she also forwarded it to all of you.
On Wednesday.
Yes, thank you. Marcia?
Yeah, just a clarification on the DCED. Has that been the first time that that's happened, that funding wasn't expended within the grant period?
For this grant, yes. For
Okay,
this grant, for this specific grant, yes.
okay. Yeah, and again, I think the administration knows that needs to be closely monitored, because there is a chance of losing money if you don't expend it according to how it's been budgeted, or how it's been allocated, I should say.
Yes, Marcia, that's correct. And I think, Maria, you said that the management is responding to this, and
Yes, they already requested when they responded to the DCD. So it is now in the DCD hands. So whatever
Mhm.
decision they made, that's
Mhm.
that's how we're gonna move forward with, or how that's the administration will move forward with this.
Okay, Marcia, anything else?
No, I think
No.
just think we need to work with the administration to continue to monitor. Thank you,
Mhm.
Maria.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Johnny?
No,
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm concerned with some of the findings as it relates to us having to return money back. How are we handling that? Or how are we preventing from returning money back? And if we had to return money back, where would that money come from?
But the money that had to return back is the money that was used, from the fund that wasn't supposed to be used. So in that case, the city, we had a liability if the DCED decided that the city had to return the money back. The $22,086 that hasn't been spent, that money will come out of the grant. But I believe, and maybe Herbine Company, but we're gonna have the audit committee meeting, and we have invited Herbine Company, and they will be talking about in the audit committee meeting. So the 22,000 that was not spent, that will come out of the grant. However, if any other money that was spent, that will be a liability for the city. That could be, but I will make sure that Herbine Company clarify that the audit committee meeting.
So, thing. Okay,
Nope.
then can you hear me or no?
Oh, now
Yes,
you
go
can,
ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
Now you
So
can't.
what system do we currently have in place?
No,
Yeah.
Johanny, you're breaking in and out. So if you can type your question for Maria, that would be good. We'll give you a minute to type that in. And Jamar, I'm sorry, I see that you are using your chat. I do not see you on my screen, therefore I cannot see your hand. If you want to make a comment, you certainly can. So Linda, if Jamar's not in the meeting, can you please bring him in as the Director of Finance to comment on some of these questions? I know Johanny's typing hers, and I just want to take a minute, Maria, to say thank you for presenting this. It has occurred before that, this is an area where in the past we have seen deficiencies in our audits with the management of grants, and we've done better. So we just need to make sure that we're watching it closely, as we move forward. So I don't know if Jamar's been able to come in.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear
Yeah.
you now, Jamar. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Counselor. I'm sorry. So yeah, I provide.
Nope, I lost him.
Jamar, you're on mute.
It's mute.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, I provide a significant amount of oversight on all of our grants, on the Act 47 grant in particular that was just reported on. Under the previous administration, we didn't get a lot of traction on some of the initiatives, which is why we ended up having to send back a small portion of the funding. I believe 22,000 is what was reported. The parking study didn't get off the ground last year as we would have liked. That's one of the major initiatives that was covered under this particular grant. On the asset management, that is being covered by the Munis project, which the managing director mentioned in his report. But that is a multi-phase and stage project. And that's why we aren't able to cover the full amount of that particular initiative under the grant. But that project is moving forward now under this administration.
Okay, thank you, Jamar. And I think that addresses one of the questions that Johanny had as well. Are there any other questions for Maria regarding her report this evening? Marcia?
And I just wanted to compliment what both Maria and Jamar have said. We have the audit committee set up to be able to look at these issues. And looking at where we are, there are other extension or different kinds of factors and impact, including being able to spend down money during the COVID year. So this isn't unusual for this to happen. It's just a matter of us keeping on top and understanding why, and to be able to take whatever actions we need to prevent it from the future. So I think that when facts are presented, sometimes you need to be able to do a deeper dive to understand what they actually mean.
Very good. Thank you, Marcia. And I see one last question from Johanny is how does the council stay and help with the accountability? So quarterly reporting, et cetera. And I think that is right. And I think that does occur. And I guess the most important really is for the Office of the Auditor, the Auditing Committee, and the Director of Finance to continue to work together and to update council on their progress. Maria?
Yes, Lucian, I just want to mention it too that, I mean, we had to wait from DCD to see what they're going to reply. We're not 100% sure that the city had to return all that money back to the DCD. So
Right.
just had to wait. So let's be positive and hopefully we don't have, the city doesn't have to return all the money back.
And hopefully the DCD will look kindly upon us and exactly grant us to move forward. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to be moving on now. This evening, we do have a report from one of our authorities. The Parking Authority is reporting this evening. We're welcoming the Executive Director, Nathan Matz, to give us a concise report on the current status of the Parking Authority. Nathan, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Hey, thank you. Nobody told me it had to be concise, so.
I just
Yeah.
did.
Just how much time do I have just to verify? Do I have 20 minutes at least, hopefully?
Yes, why don't you shoot for 15 and then we'll let you know if you're going over time.
Okay, and can I, Linda, are you gonna share the screen or should I try?
I already am.
Okay, perfect. All right, so to start with the authority, in 2019, the authority was defined by instability. And in 2020, we focused on restoring stability to the Reading Parking Authority. The organization was on extremely rocky ground. It was in dire need of solid foundation in order to survive. 2021 has focused on sustainability. The authority had a stable leadership team in place and was becoming fiscally secure. It was finally self-reliant after many years of uncertainty. City Council support with ordinance changes was crucial to this transition. With their backing, the RPA began the transformation into a mature organization much sooner than anticipated. We have been able to develop and move toward our new mission, parking with a purpose. Tonight, I will share the many ways that we have embodied that mission in 2021, as well as the core value that will shape 2022, which is quality in everything. So I'm going to quickly go through our 5 pillars of the strategic plan and just give a quick update on where we're at with most of them. No, I don't see the Zoom or the presentation. Okay, so finance
And
is the
I'm
first.
sorry, Nathan, can you just hold on 1 minute, please? Linda, if you can just check your shared screen. What I'm seeing is the email inbox and not the presentation.
Yeah, I did text Linda to let her know the wrong screen was being shared.
Yep. I think she's working on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nathan, I will not deduct this from your 15 minutes.
Oh, geez, thanks.
Okay, there we
There
go.
we go.
Thank you,
All right,
Linda.
getting there. Yeah, so there's our strategic plan. We're on to the organizational journey. Yep, and if you want to go down to slide 4 there, finance. So in terms of an update on finance, we just had our second clean audit in a row. So I'm very thankful for our finance team and for that. And we also went above and beyond and hired our own parking experts to complete a forensic audit of each line item of cash flow. And they found good results. They have made some recommendations that we are implementing, but it was nothing that alarming. And that is, from our last committee, the whole meeting, one of those presentations or recommendations was that we get rid of all cash handling as soon as possible, and which has triggered a lot of what we are doing. Under finance, we've revamped the no parking sign process with the help of City Council to fix and assure quality issues. Payment plans, this is a new thing. We have reduced the requirement for people to be eligible to get on a payment plan. Before it was $300. Now it's down to $100, which is one public safety violation or more. So we're happy to announce that. And that has come at the request of many people from the public meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago. We have established our capital fund with a yearly minimum deposit of $250,000. And lastly, under finance, this year we have really focused on being a friendlier city partner. In February of this year, we committed to increasing our city contribution, increase that by $1 million. So our commitment to the city is $1.7 million. We have gone above and beyond that through things like paying for our own salt, paying for our own gas, paying for our own ADA ramp. We've added 25 additional ADA ramps in the downtown business area, so the city doesn't have to do that. We are assisting with the snow removal and many other things like sponsoring of the parade and community events. And the last big thing we've done is to assist the city in its paving projects. We have reduced the no parking signs for the city paving projects, specifically from the liquid fuel funds. And so this additional monies, we have contributed basically to the city another $558,000 in value above that 1.7 million we've committed to so far this year. So that's really exciting from our end, and we are very proud of our partnership with the city. So moving on to number 2 is public policy. We have started to use the public meeting we had 2 weeks ago, and that's going to hopefully morph into the community action committee that we have in our strategic plan. There's great value in it. There was some chaos in it as well, and we are working on figuring how to continue this because there is great value in it, but to do it in a more calm and respectful manner. We have developed and launched double parking initiatives, and with that, the VADE contract for cameras to assist the city specifically at dangerous intersections that have been identified. And so we are excited to be the beta site and testing them and hoping that it'll work in curbing the behavior of double parking. We are also excited about the citywide parking relief initiative that we've announced many times. We have or are purchasing, I have 9 lots on here so far. 423 Schuylkill Avenue was the first one that went live, and we're really proud of how that has come out. And we're excited to continue to negotiate. At any given moment, we're working on 20 to 30 different lots, and it's great. We continue to have people come in and want to sell us their lots, and we're always open to that. So if anybody else wants to come on down. I'm looking at 2 more tomorrow. The last main initiative under the public policy, and we've talked about this a couple of times, we're partnering with the city on this and through the parking study as well. And that is this grant program to create off-street residential parking behind residents' homes. I even had 2 people flag me down today on the street to talk to me, and we're really excited about this program. We are very excited about it. We will cover the engineering fees, and we will help people navigate through the zoning process. And we will also have a grant reimbursement program of up to a certain percentage for the construction cost. As I mentioned, we're working with the city on this. This is being done through the parking study. And as soon as we have details, we will announce it. Third is operations. One of the main goals is decreasing of cash handling. Again, this is from the audit recommendations. So we have converted to 100% cash, no cash handling at all events. And we are committed to converting one of our parking structures to gateless technology. And the goal is to eventually tear out all of our gates to get people out as fast as humanly possible to exit events. And we are committing to going gateless system-wide as soon as possible. Some of the benefits of that are digital permitting, now enforced through license plate reading technology, and monthly payments are now able to be done online. And this has also increased our mobile payment adoption. Our adoption rate is over 30% now. When we started, it was below 10, so that's exciting. We have also developed an annual maintenance budget. We are working on electric vehicle charging in all of our facilities. We have hired engineers, and they've designed the installation of 8 separate stations, which would be 16 heads in all of our structures. And we are working on that as a city partner. The city is partnering with us on that project, and we're grateful for that. We have also moved into no print ticketing. This has been a huge officer safety issue, and we are excited that we had some issues in the beginning when that went live, but we are now we've worked through them, corrected them, and extended the escalations, and we're excited that is working. And in terms of violations, our officers are primarily enforcing on public safety violations, except for others that are on complaint. Number 4 is economic development. We have been, as I mentioned, purchasing and leasing strategic lots around the city, not just in the CPR initiative, because that's for residents, but also in the downtown commercial core to help out local businesses as well. And one of the things we've done under here that I'm really excited about is expanding parking in downtown. We hired a traffic engineer to evaluate the commercial core, and he has found 15 potential additional blocks in the downtown commercial core where we can add between 200 and 300 additional on-street spaces. So that's really exciting because if you look at the parking study in the commercial core, the on-street parking is anywhere between 100 and 115% of occupancy on a normal day, especially on the northwest section. So we're really excited about that. And we'll definitely, once we figure out more stuff with that and we have actual proposals, we'll be coming before City Council for next steps with that. Number 5 for us is human resource development. We have revamped most of our manuals, parking enforcement manual, employee manual, updating constantly our SOPs and policies, especially as we're made aware of things. And council, you've been a great help in this, making us aware of deficiencies. And then we can go around and come up with a better SOP or policy to address that. Number 6 is benefits to the residents and the community. So we have, our goal here at the authority is to help the residents and the community. We have done this list of things to help the citizens and the businesses. First is reduce the cost of the no parking sign for a resident. It used to be between $4 and $6. It was reduced by 75% down to $1 for residents. We have also temporarily reduced the meter rates down by 50% during the pandemic to assist with residents. We have extended the escalation of penalties. It used to be 10 days and 30 days. It would go up 50% respectively at each of those intervals. We've now pushed it back to 30 and 60 days. And again, that's something that's brand new, and we're excited that we are able to get that in. Another thing is the residential garage program. We have rates all the way down as low as $25 a month for residents. We have 422 residents that are participating in that program and are parking in our garages. And that's a great thing, and we're excited about that. We are working on expanding additional parking, as I mentioned, and, again, we'll be coming to City Council for the next steps. One of the things that we've done is we've done a parking study in the 400 and 500 blocks of Penn Street, where the study has shown that we could get 84 more additional on-street spaces in the 400 and 500 block of Penn Street. And this is crucial for businesses. There's a new business, Starbucks, that just went in the corner of 4th and Penn. And we've had ongoing conversations with them about how to get more parking to be more business friendly. So we are working on all of those issues, and our traffic engineering firm is coming up with plans that as soon as they are materialized, we will bring them before council for approval. One of the most exciting pieces, and it's been one of the most controversial pieces, is line striping. I've spoken to council before and listened to concerns about line striping, and I was kind of skeptical myself until I just reviewed all the data from our engineers, and I'm really excited about what I learned. And I literally just got this yesterday. So our line striping testing, the mayor's office picked out 25 blocks throughout the city to test. We sent our engineers out to do an existing assessment of exactly how the block is laid out, meaning yellow curbs, blue curbs, fire hydrants, anything. And they had to diagram. We have all the diagrams for all 25 blocks of exactly how many parking spaces by foot were in each block currently versus them laying it out best case scenario, best use, highest use, and readjusting everything. So in the 25 blocks, the initial study showed that there was 980 active spaces. So after they redesigned everything and relayed everything out, those same 25 blocks now netted 1,087 spaces. So that's showing an increase net total of 107 new spaces. That's an increase of an 11%. Now, 11% isn't a lot until you look at 11% over 10 square miles of a city. So we've heard a lot of concern about that there is not going to be efficiency in line striping. Well, our data from our engineers clearly states and clearly supports the fact that 11% increase across the city would be a huge step forward in starting to permanently solve the parking crisis that's in the city. Just, one quick example of why there's a net surplus of parking when a study is done. One fire hydrant is supposed to be marked 30 feet of yellow curb, 15 feet on either side. This fire hydrant had 15 feet on one side and 75 feet on the other side. So there was over 2.5 parking spaces that were yellow curbed for no reason. So it was inefficiencies like that were all over the place that our engineers came up with, and were able to lay out these blocks in a much more efficient manner. So lastly, I just want to say thank you. Again, I want to thank City Council for giving us the tools that we can better serve this city and truly fix the parking problem in Reading. I'm also very thankful they are patient with me and our organization as we change, as we improve, as we constantly strive for a higher goal. Secondly, I want to thank the mayor and his administration for working with us and guiding us and helping us make a better Reading. I'd also like to thank our board for their leadership and support as we grow into an organization that we can all be proud of. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to thank our staff. We have a great team that is growing and working tirelessly. They have a tough job given the level of expectations that I have for this organization. Change is a constant thing for us, and we are committed to continual improvement. And that is why we are rotating into our value of quality in everything. Our new focus now through the end of 2022 is on quality. As I said, quality in everything is the level of expectation. We are creating an environment in which people refuse to accept mediocrity. It's about pushing back against the urge to say good enough is good enough. Quality is a luxury many organizations cannot afford. It requires an investment of both time and money that are often in short supply. I say we cannot afford not to make quality a priority when public safety hangs in the balance. We are also accountable to the public, and we want to ensure the best service, the best experience, and the best partnerships possible with our constituents and our city. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. That's excellent. Nobody can argue quality is a good place to aspire towards. So with that, you were pretty concise. I'm going to open it up to a few brief comments or questions from council body. Now, we did have a great session during the committee of the whole. I applaud you for being available and open and honest during committee of the wholes, which gives us the more frequent opportunity to engage with you as we hear from our constituents. These annual, semi-annual, or every year and a half meetings by the departments, authorities, and commissions are very useful as well. But I think being able to communicate more frequently is key. And thank you for being able to do that with us. So council members, I invite you to ask or comment on the presentation by Nathan. Johanny?
Thank you, Nathan, so much. I enjoy hearing your presentations. They're very thoughtful. I appreciate that you're always thinking about our community members. However, I think the issue is communicating all of that to our community. I think that's where we're lacking, right? Because we're doing all this great work, but the perception is different, right? So how do we work on that? I mean, we got to figure out how to use the radio station, all languages. We have to figure out if we have to have a street team, even your enforcement officers, while they're on the street, if they're talking to residents, right? And educating them on what you have to offer. I wonder about your community meetings and how often are you going to continue having them? Dates, times, locations. I mean, that's key, right? Because we want our constituents to know that you care and you're trying to work with everyone, right? So that we create win-win regarding parking. And also even regarding the lots, because there's some people who are still not aware that there might be lots available for rentals, which brings me to the next comment and question. How do we get those community members who are renting these lots from the RPA to be your spokespeople, if you will, right? For them to communicate to their neighbors what's available, right? Because you need, it almost sounds like you need some community ambassadors. And the last thing that I want to put out there to you to start thinking about is snow days and how we communicate parking availability for people and provide them maybe with shuttle opportunities, right? So that they park and there's a shuttle. I know we spoke about this in the past about BARDA and figuring out how we could shuttle people so that our streets are available for snow removal. I said a lot. Thank you for listening. My wheels are turning when you speak.
So let me just quick tackle the snow thing. We're working with the city. We are greatly expanding our responsibility in assisting the city in downtown. We will be removing snow from the commercial core for all the on-street parking spaces. We've purchased over $200,000 in additional equipment to assist with that and assist with helping sidewalks downtown. And so we are definitely financially committing to helping with snow. With that being said, we have already worked with high rises in particular who bring shuttles down and help their people get their residents down here. And, we're working with the mayor's office on how to write an ordinance to declare snow emergencies more effectively, and potentially having two different types of emergencies and how to communicate that. In terms of communication with the public, my goal is to have a quarterly meeting. After this last one, if you watched any of it or if you attended it was very challenging. It was very draining. It was very beneficial. And if you go on our website, we have all the handouts on there. They're in Spanish and English. And, one of the best things I think that came out of it is, the next week we were on La Mega with the board chairman, myself, and our director of operations. And we were able to continue to communicate, continue to field questions, and educate the public on a lot of the really cool things that we're doing. So yeah, the communication absolutely is the biggest thing we need to do right now. And I agree with you.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Marcia?
Yes, and thank you for your report. It would be helpful with the PowerPoint if we could have a copy of it. And I don't know whether there's any notes to go along, because there's a lot of information you covered that I didn't see come up on the slides that I'd really like to review. And then maybe look at another time that we could speak in more detail. The one thing that I think is key is the communication. And I just did a little exercise because I was asked, do you need to pay for parking on Sunday? And rather than going into my knowledge of what we passed as ordinances, which I only know that most people and the people on council know, but most people in the public don't, I tried to find on the website what the Sunday parking fees would be. We need to be able to work so it's really user friendly to be able to address that, because folks are getting ticketed because they don't understand what the rules are. And the minute you start getting ticketed, that's where the frustration comes in. And I know you're trying the best you can, and you have a lot that you need to accomplish. And I guess my final thought is, and this goes beyond the parking plan, we need to recognize that everyone can't have residential parking within their neighborhoods. It's just not going to happen. There aren't enough spaces, the vehicles are too big. And once we start to help people look at not being so car dependent, I think that, I know that's not your role, but we need to figure that out, because there just isn't space. And I always said it's like playing musical cars, and the last person in is going to park illegally. And I've been seeing that happen more and more often. And I don't think you're going to change that behavior as long as there's so many cars in the community. So that's another discussion for another time, but I think we need to look at that. Obviously, people, and Johanny comes from New York City. She knows, or everyone doesn't have a car to get around because they have good public transportation.
Yeah, Marcia, the one thing you brought up, and I think you brought it up one of the other times as well, is the event metering, right? It's an issue where it's on our website, and all the meters say go to the website, and there's a calendar. It's really comprehensive.
Right,
but
I saw
what we noticed was that wasn't enough, right? We thought we were doing a good job of communicating, but we weren't. And we got that feedback from residents and from attendees. So what we changed as a result of that is we do the exact same thing for events that we do for any no parking anywhere in the city. So now if there's an event at the Santander, at the Performing Arts, or at the Symphony, we go around, and every single meter that's going to be meter event rate, we hang a sign every single day, 2 hours before that event starts. So everybody's without excuse now to not understand that that meter on that day at that time is event rate. It's bright, it's fluorescent green, and it says it clearly.
Yeah,
so we've had to shift, we've had to adjust based on feedback. And, we even now have the officers taking pictures of every one of those signs, because, we want to produce the best product we can. And we don't want people to be misinformed. We don't want them to come into an event and get a ticket and they didn't know, because, then they're not going to come back. So we're absolutely trying our best here. Any other suggestions you guys have, we definitely work on them. So thanks, Marcia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Johanny, do you have another question?
More of a comment regarding event tickets, or do we have a collaboration or partnership with Santander, the arena, whatever? So when a person purchases their ticket, they can reserve and pay for parking in advance?
So yes, we switched over, as I mentioned earlier, we switched over to a mobile app provider called Park Mobile. And Park Mobile now, we just went through the testing phase, and it's live that we can do reservations. We're currently in the integration phase with the Santander, because they use Ticketmaster for their ticketing. We are working on connecting that so that when somebody buys a ticket, they'll receive the link and the instructions on exactly how to reserve parking at a specific space in the city. So that's an exciting thing, and I think it'll be a very efficient thing for people moving forward.
Thank you. And I think, Nathan, in some ways, you're showcasing where we're learning and catching up, how to work with Ticketmaster, how to book, spots in advance. But then there's areas also that you really are spearheading, right? And so with this ticketless, systems and kind of being the beta testing. So it shows the full capacity, I think, of the parking authority. And I think that quality piece where we want people to be connecting with your policies and your practices, but also the people who are working for you and what ultimately your strategic plan outlines for you to be doing as an authority for the city of Reading. So the more that you can get the information out there, the better. And be as approachable as possible, which you've really shown in good faith that you are. So thank you for doing that. Council, any other comments before we thank Nathan for his time? Donna?
Just two things. Continue as much as you can with that residential off-street parking. I'm always just really happy about that particular lot in Schuylkill Avenue, but also I'm really glad to hear about the blind parking because I've always been a proponent of that in our city streets, and I hope that can be expanded exponentially on our city streets. That's it.
And we just bought 442 Rosenthal, right around the corner up there, and we're going to put 7 spaces on there. So
Yeah,
yep.
Thank you. I think one piece personally that I have to add to this is to keep your municipal agreements, especially between the city and the authority, revised and up to date, because in the past we've seen where without an annual reflection of who is agreeing to do what and where and how, services can be omitted, people will be affected. As you mentioned, you're taking on more of an approach for the downtown, especially in snow removal and some of the event planning or logistics or operations in absence of the improvement district to help the city in their responsibilities. So making sure that those terms are constantly revisited and that we're all aware of what's happening is going to be critical moving forward.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm sure we'll continue to speak with you and have you at the committee of the whole meetings and reaching out to you via the public domain. So have a good evening. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Okay, it's really critical to be able to have our department directors and the directors and leadership from our boards, authorities, and commissions join us during our public meetings, our regular meetings, to share the work that they are doing. With that, we're going to be moving on to our action items this evening for City Council. We have ordinances for final passage. We have 2 this evening that are listed on our agenda. Bill 75-2021 is amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 62, New Officers and Employees Pension Fund, Section 102, to prohibit the participation of new members where the employee is hired or rehired on or after January 1st, 2022. This was introduced at the September 27th regular meeting. This was tabled at the October 11th and the October 25th regular meetings. Is there a motion?
Move to table.
Okay, so there's been a motion and a second to table this. That means there will be no further discussions this evening. Linda, will you have a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Councilor Goodman Hintershit, seconded by Councilor Cepeda Freitas to table Bill number 75-2021. Ms. Cepeda Freitas?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman Hintershit?
Yes.
Mr. Marmaru?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Sahelnick?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
Okay, Bill 81-2021. This is authorizing a budget transfer in the law department in the amount of $70,000 from special counsel labor negotiations to general legal services. This was introduced at the October 25th regular meeting. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, so this was moved and seconded. We had a brief discussion during the committee of the whole. I believe our city solicitor is prepared just to make a brief commentary on the request for transfer of funds.
Yes, I am. And I think part of this has to do with, last year we weren't in court very often. The courts were, because they were shut down due to COVID. With the reopening, we're seeing a lot of spending that would have happened last year hitting our budget. We had one really big case that ordinarily would have been covered by insurance. It had to come out of our budget. There's several charter board matters. A couple meetings ago, you guys approved the charter board transfer, and we're basically paying for the other side of that. And then I guess some of the good news with the spending is we're going to be working on our cable franchise agreement and wireless communications. In fact, we're actually going to do some work on our ordinance to get it up to date. Those are two things that the investment will be worthwhile, because while myself and Dave Paris, who's an attorney, but he's in our zoning, spent a lot of time working on the wireless, it's something beyond the law department's expertise. So I think we'll be pleasantly surprised by how well that pays off.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Any comments or further questions by council body? Okay, Linda, can we have a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Counselor Cepeda Freitas, seconded by Counselor Goodman Hintershitz, to enact Bill number 81, 2021, which authorizes a budget transfer on the law department for general legal services. Ms. Goodman Hintershitz?
yes.
Mr. Marmaru? Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Sahelnick?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
Ms. Cepeda Freitas?
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
Thank you. We are going to introduce 3 new ordinances. I'm going to ask Counselor Goodman Hintershitz to read those onto the record, please.
Yes. A, ordinance authorizing a budget transfer of $30,000 from finance to the mayor's office for the purchase of a car for the mayor. B, ordinance authorizing a budget transfer of $12,000 from finance to the mayor's office to reimburse the Pottinger Trust Fund to cover the cost of the gun buyback program, as this fund may only be used for charities. And C, ordinance authorizing the addition of an agency fund line item in the amount of $25,000 for downtown holiday related costs.
Okay, thank you, Marcia. So we will have 2 weeks to further discuss those new ordinances before we take action on those as submitted. And finally, we're moving into our resolutions this evening. We have 3. Resolution A is reappointing Michelle Mikosi to the Reading Public Library Board. That will be effective January 1st of 2022. Is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, that was probably moved and seconded. Any comments on Michelle Mikosi and this appointment from the Nominations Committee? Johanny?
Just for clarity, is it Michael?
Michelle?
It is
Michelle.
Michelle?
Michelle, yeah.
Michel.
I don't know why I think we interviewed a male, but okay, maybe that's how you pronounce his name.
Very good. We'll make sure before we say it again publicly to confirm. Okay, Linda, can we have a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Counselor Marmaru, seconded by Counselor Cepeda Freitas, to appoint Michelle Mikosi to the Reading Public Library Board. Mr. Marmaru?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Sahelnick?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
Ms. Cepeda Freitas?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman Hintershitz?
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
And as per our deputy clerk, she shared that he goes by Mike. So Mike Makosi, welcome and thank you. Moving
Some
on.
of you guys who were around remember Michelle Lefebvre, who was our preservation
Mhm.
specialist in the 70s and 80s. So very French.
Very French. Resolution B, we're going to authorize the submission of the 2022 CDBG action plan. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
In a second.
Second,
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. Any comments on what has been presented for this CDBG action plan for 2022? Okay, very good. Well, let's have a roll call, please, Linda.
Motion was made by Counselor Goodman Henschitz, seconded by Counselor Cepeda Freitas to adopt Resolution 100, 2021, which authorizes the submission of the 2022 CDBG action plan. Ms. Reed,
yes.
Mr. Helnick,
Yes.
Ms. Ventura,
Yes.
Ms. Cepeda Freitas,
Yes.
Ms. Goodman Henschitz,
Yes.
Mr. Marmarin.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
Okay, so finally, we have the final resolution. It's approving the conditional use application for a group home at 730 and 732 McKnight Street, submitted by Andrea McHenry for freedom and restoration for everyone enslaved, also known as FREE, with the conditions listed and attached and the conditions approved by the zoning board. We have had the appropriate hearings. We have had the advice and opinions of the bodies. And at this time, is there a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. Any comments from council body? Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, on principle, I continue to worry about how many of our structures become nonprofit and off the tax rolls. This particular group has proved itself to me, and I believe this will certainly blend in with the neighborhood. There won't be signage, there will be adequate off-street parking, there will be 24/7 supervisors at the facility, and it will go a long way to protecting folks and getting them back onto into life as they should be experiencing it. So it falls within District 5, and I'm supportive of it.
Thank you, Donna. Go ahead, Marcia.
Yes, and I want to thank council members, hopefully for the complete support of this. I believe that nonprofits have their place in the community, especially when working with high-risk populations that really need to have the right types of facilities. And this group has done an exemplary job of following all the guidelines they need to be. So I think they should be welcome to the community. And I think we should be looking at, rather than having a stigma about nonprofits and having a stigma about people that may have challenging needs living in our communities, we should be welcoming them, because in the long run, they turn out to be outstanding citizens.
Marcia, just to counter that, I really do feel that other municipalities need to do their shares. We stand up in doing that, but we stand alone in many respects.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the data sometime, because I think you'll be surprised how many other municipalities do allow for that type of use too. So
I applaud
Probably
the
not
counselor's
to the extent that
remarks.
they do.
Yeah, and I, having known this organization in the few years past, coming and presenting what they do and who they serve, I'm happy to see this request in making sure that the location will give the individuals who are served by the organization's goals, accessibility to other support services that they might need, and the opportunity they might gain from moving forward in their lives and what they've experienced. It's very sad when we have to, recognize and address that there are too many individuals who do fall into and subject to being enslaved. And so we want to make sure that we can support them in any way possible. So I'm happy to see this move forward, if agreeable by the council body. Okay, Linda, can I ask for a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Counselor Reed, seconded by Counselor Cepeda Freitas to adopt Resolution 101, 2021, which approves the conditional use application for 732 McKnight Street. Ms. Sahelnick,
Yes.
Ms. Ventura,
Yes.
Ms. Cepeda Freitas,
Yes.
Ms. Goodman Hendershitz,
Yes.
Mr. Marmaru, Ms. Reed,
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
Okay, everybody, thank you. I'm wondering, Linda, if we had the opportunity for the two registrants for public comment to join us?
Neither are present.
Okay, well, just doing our due diligence here. A reminder that people can submit comments. They can join our meetings. They can, communicate through the clerk's office. And we encourage you to do that so you can feel as much as part involved in the process as we continue to do the work of the government, even in a hybrid virtual situation. So with that being said, I'm going to open up to some closing comments by council members at this time. Johanny?
The first, Strat, say something? Okay. I just want to congratulate Star City Boxing and Alex and Monica Betances, the Betances family, the coaches, the trainers, the volunteers, the participants for such an amazing and successful event at their Box Out the Violence that took place October 30th. Also, huge shout out to the Olivets Boys and Girls Club, the PAL for being the host site and for collaborating with this organization. I am looking forward to seeing more of that. I also want to congratulate Reading Area Community College for their 50th year anniversary and the amazing work that they do for our community and within our community. And lastly, I want to announce that the RISE program, they're hosting their community roundtable regarding violence at Star City Boxing on Wednesday, November 17th at 5 p.m. They've had I think this will be the third meeting that they host. Typically they take place at the Goggle Works, but this one will be taking place at Star City. Again, November 17th at 5 p.m. Everyone have a great week and thank you. And also, I guess tune in and look out for the holiday parade. I'm excited to see our streets of Penn Street, with the festivities. Thank you.
Thank you. Strat?
That's what I was gonna bring up. The holiday parade, what's the date of it?
November 20th, Saturday.
Now, is that a walking parade or can we go people like we've done in the past?
You can walk or you can ride.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you. That starts at 11th and Penn, right?
Starts at 10 a.m. Yes, sir.
At 11th and Penn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Other comments by council members? Go ahead, Donna.
Just to reiterate, remember, November 11th, Veterans Day, and for those who can, the celebration at City Park at 11 o'clock. Or I'm sure there's others throughout the county, but certainly, you have veterans among your friends and family. It's a good day to remember.
Thanks, Donna. Absolutely. Marcia, any comments this evening?
No, I just wanted to again thank the administration and Public Works for all the fine work done at the Pagoda and for all our community members to continue to go on the Reading Pagoda Facebook page, the website. We have a lot of exciting things that we're going to be introducing and talking about, and we want to make the outdoor grounds of the facility shine. One of the things you'll notice when you go up there are their new trash receptacles. Again, the road repaved, so it's really looking up. So I look forward to the regenesis of our city icon.
Yes, thank you, Marcia. And you know, this weekend, I actually went out of state for a family wedding. And I hadn't done that in a while, just hadn't been traveling, hadn't been around people. And as we were coming back in from 222, we crested and I saw the pagoda and I saw the beautiful expanse of the city from, you know, coming in from Lancaster at nighttime. And it was just really stunning. And sometimes we forget when we're just right here and right under the pagoda and right in the city, how beautiful and how vast it is right here in Berks County. For details on things like the parade, for Veterans Day, for our events, I just want to remind everybody, you can find that information readily available on our new updated city website, readingpa.gov. You can also find that through our social media feeds on both Instagram and Facebook. So please tune in. You do have to register to participate in the parade. That's very important. So make sure that you do that. And any other questions, you can certainly feed through contacting the city in the appropriate channels. I'm excited that the Royals are playing home games this weekend. The stadium is in District 1, which people forget. So I'm here to talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of upcoming events happening throughout our entire city. And probably some community events that we don't know about. So make sure that you're letting your council members know, reaching out to city so that we can continue to encourage and talk about all the hard work that's being done by our community members. Marcia?
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't add this, the extraordinary Violins of Hope exhibit, which is at the Goggle Works, Kutztown. If any of you haven't gotten to see it, I can't tell you how much emotion I'm filled with when I see the violins, I read the stories. They do honor Sid and Esther Bratt for what they brought to the city of Reading. And of course, the fabulous symphony concert with Pinchas Zuckerman will be on Saturday night. So I look forward to that event, as I sure all do, and also to be able to thank the Reading Choral Society for putting on an outstanding performance at the Bear Chapel at 6th and Cherry. That was just outstanding. And for all the renovation works that the Schumann Corporation did to be able to stabilize that building. It's a phenomenon. That building is still standing. So I always look at those as the touchstones of hope for our community. So
That's
I hope to see you
beautiful.
at the symphony concert on Saturday night.
Yes, we have our city is bursting with music. We have the symphony, we have Blues Fest coming up. We have, so
Right.
many free opportunities to really embrace in the culture and the arts of the city. So with that, I'm going to leave some additional dates for upcoming council meetings. We'll be meeting tomorrow evening, November 9th. At 5 o'clock for a budget review. We'll be discussing law, the charter board, and the ethics board. Just a quick note, because I forgot, I will be hosting a live BCTV in your district tomorrow evening after that session with our managing director and our director of finance. We're going to be unpacking some of the budget and the ARP funds. So hopefully people can tune in. That was my announcement. I forgot to say it. Then we're moving on to November 11th, which is Veterans Day. So we will not have a meeting that evening, but we'll be back on Monday, November 15th with a budget review, talking about the debt service and the pensions. Further than that, please feel free to again visit our city website, which has all our updated information and very easy to navigate and very beautiful, if I may say, and give accolades to Mitch and everybody who's been working on that. So with that, I need a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
You got it.
Thank you very much, Strat. And thank you everybody for joining in. Have a good evening. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Oops, wrong button.
Who's gonna